Hey, can anybody hear Bill? Kiki? You can hear me? Excellent. Oh, excellent. Okay, we've got it. We've got it, everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and restart and talk about what we were doing. I'm on this other channel. It's called the Bill Strand Project right now. And it's all about starting your own YouTube channel. And what I was saying is that uh, I am coming to the end. I was releasing an episode every weekday for the month of November, and we are coming to obviously to the end of November. We've got 3 days left, and oh my goodness, uh, that is I'm coming to the end. Coming to the end, and it is quite the journey. And so, if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, go over to right now. It's called the Bill Strand Project, and just start at the beginning. There's a playlist. Start at the beginning. So there we go. All right, Dean. Yes, thank you. Sound is back. Wonderful. Let's see. And let's see. Hear you loud and clear. Kazukuza, welcome. Have a YouTube questions. Okay. Yeah, Bob, I don't want to talk too much about YouTube here. If it's a real simple question, I'd say let's keep it chameleon here, and Sunday night we'll do YouTube. So let's see. But if you want to talk about a chameleon YouTube channel, I think we can slide that in. So Jarek is saying, I'm going to start a YouTube channel reacting to Bill's videos. Okay, why not? Oh, that would be interesting. So yeah, editing videos is a lot of work. Yes, this is something that we learn, that editing videos is a real pain in the butt. And the reason why we're talking about, for those new and wondering, why are we talking about YouTube channels, is because I really believe that those of us, if you're keeping chameleons, having a YouTube channel is a great way to share what you are learning with the community. And that's why I'm putting all this effort into it, because I think it's a great stepping stone for our community. And it gives a digital footprint to your experience. So let's see. What is your longest lived chameleon? Concedenzies. Hey, Mikey. My longest lived chameleon, I have had a chameleon live 12 years. Now, of course, I've got Parsons that are still living, but let's see. That my Parsons is about, I've had him for about 8 years. He came in totally an adult, so I have no idea how old he is, but that is the situation. But I've had a multi-tuberculata for 12 years. I've had a Bradypodian thamnobates for 8 years. A Daramensis for, I think, but I got the Daramensis as an adult, and he was 12 years. So they can live a long time. And this is, I love this trend where we're getting longer and longer life for our chameleon. Really tremendous help for the noob chameleon keeper. Oh, thank you, Jarek. Hey, Mini Minion. Hello. Hello. And Nick, good to see you. So Corey is asking, hey, Bill, happy Tuesday. My female panther chameleon turned 3 months old yesterday. When is a good age to bring in a heat bulb? Using a space heater now when it's chilly in the day. You can use a heat bulb anytime. They need heat from the beginning. The reason why a lot of people don't use a heat bulb for babies is because heat bulbs tend to overwhelm the babies. It is just a huge light and a small baby. And so oftentimes you actually don't need a heat bulb because the white light bulb produces so much heat that the baby doesn't need any more. And so, Corey, I would say bring in extra heat when you think that whatever you're doing as far as heat isn't working. And that means when it gets to the size that the ambient heat coming off of the white light isn't enough anymore, or he doesn't fit under it anymore. And so that's got to be a judgment call on your part as to when you think this isn't working anymore. If you're using a space heater to heat up the room, that's a good way to do it. Just make sure you add in humidity into the air. But that's the thing. If the ambient temperatures are warm, no, mission accomplished. So, Tutorial Tom, if only somebody in the U.S. had Brady Podium. Oh, if only. If only. Hey, Eliza Ann. Let's see. A mini minion. I had a veiled chameleon for about 10 years. Looking to get a panther this time. Have a lot more space here. 5 different dart frogs. Dart frogs are awesome. Love them. So, see. Ken Underwood is asking, do chameleons go through terrible ones? My chameleon used to come out of his cage daily. Last 2 weeks, he's refused to come out. Yes. Well, I don't know if it's terrible ones, but chameleons grow, and they grow in personality. Usually, they're more skittish as babies, and they get more calm as adults. But everybody's got a different way of. They grow differently. So let's see. So Reptilian 23, why is my female veiled not laying her eggs in the bin? How big should the bin be? Reptilian, chameleons will thumb their nose at your most perfect laying bin, and they will choose to lay in the dead plant pot. I don't know. They're all looking for something different. And so I don't know. They do that to me all the time. They don't lay. Now, if you think that they're getting egg bound, that's a serious problem. But if they are just refusing to lay where you want them to lay, that's normal chameleon stuff. Oh, and it's great because I create a video about how to do the absolute perfect laying bin, and to have my chameleon just totally ignore it and go lay eggs in the potted plants. Like, come on, man. Come on. Hey, Eric, thank you very much for the super sticker. I got to figure out how to. Yeah, this I've been playing around with different software. This one doesn't allow me to put comments on the screen. Oh, Justin, I'm sorry about being stuck on the other video. I have to restart it. I have no idea what's wrong with the microphone. So let's see. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Late on bottling up beer for Christmas. Okay, Matthew, he's having fun. He's having fun. Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, I am really sorry about that issue of having to restart on the YouTube. So, does anyone know a good small dripper valve substitute for the plastic ones? Constantly adjusting mine. I don't know the answer to that one. So, all right. You know what, guys? I wanna try something. You know how I don't like to bring chameleons on here because it's so tough getting it to focus on them. I want to see if I can show you my baby brevicorn. Not a baby, much a baby anymore, but I'm gonna put them on a thick branch, and I'm gonna see if that's gonna make it easier to focus on them. So just hang tight here. James Cross, you're here now. Yes, can you please sing for everybody? I'll be right back. I'm going to be back with a Brady, not a Brady, a Kaluma brevicorn. Would you like, or anyone here in LA like to adopt a veiled chameleon for free? Yeah, I love all chameleons, and I have, and I am working on reducing how many I have, so I will not be able to take any others in. So, okay, okay, all right, here goes, everybody. Okay, James is singing. Just hang tight, everybody. Come on, sweetie. All right, and here is the little guy with the flappy flaps. All right, let's see if I can get that. Can you see? Okay, I think it's working. I don't know. Is it? Let me get out of here. Ah, it's still having trouble focusing, but that is a little baby brevicorn. Where'd he go? There we go. Come on, come on. There we go. Going to hightail it to other places. This is a rarely seen chameleon here in captivity. They're not rare in Madagascar, so we're not talking about an endangered species here. But in captivity, we usually don't see this one. They are incredible. They've got the we call them flappy flaps, and we're very. I've got some babies, and Steve Hefner has some babies, and so we are hoping. We're hoping we've got some males and females and all of that, and we can get a true F2, some F2 babies. That would be incredible. So I only fog goes on to. So hey, Mason's turtles, good to see you here. My chameleon hatched. What should I feed him? You should feed him fruit flies and depending upon what kind of chameleon it is, maybe pinhead or week-old crickets. Those are great options, but fruit flies are really good. So he blends in so well. Yeah, he does. So how old is this little guy? Oh, you know what? He's like a couple months, maybe month and a half. He actually, if you guys remember, he was actually born. He's actually hatched on a Tuesday night show. So anyway, I'll go ahead and put this little guy back. I'm gonna just have to go through a photo shoot to give you guys photos. So there we go. I'm gonna just put her back. Haven't sexed him yet. There we go. That was fun. All right, Buttercup's asking, can you please expand on your previous statement on using a space heater versus a baking bulb for a 3-month-old chameleon? All right, a space heater is only used if it's going to be changing the temperature of the entire room. So if I have a chameleon room in a room, I would have a space heater all the way on the other side of the room. I would not have a space heater inside the chameleon cage because, I mean, it's not good that way. You don't want there's all sorts of danger that goes with that. So that's the difference. If you want it in the cage, do the basking bulb. Let's get this right. If you're going to be taking care of the entire room, then use a space heater. So, Bill, do brevicorn require specialized care at all? Tutorial Tom, no, they don't. The incubation does. It requires a diapause, but brevicorn is very much like Jackson's. Now, brevicorn is not going to want it really, really hot, but they're a pretty diverse. I mean, they're all over the place, and so they're a hardy species. And in this case, we're calling hardy, meaning that they do well in conditions that we can easily give them. So brevicorn are great choice for a pet chameleon. If anybody wants a pet chameleon, but we just don't have a whole lot of captive hatched. We have very few. I think there's 5 in the United States right now. So if they were more available, then they would be an awesome choice as a pet chameleon. Let's see. Okay, all right. They're talking about turtles on YouTube. What type of calcium would be perfect for a male veiled chameleon to grow healthy? Type of calcium. They're just these calcium powders. There's nothing magic about calcium. So any of the calcium powders would work, any standard calcium powders. The real thing is figuring out the D3. And so do you use dietary D3 or use UVB? I, of course, prefer to use UVB. And then I don't use dietary D3, usually not. These days where in winter where there's little to no UV index, even outside in the sun, sometimes I'll use Repashy Calcium Plus Low D. That's what I like to use. So, hey, Wayne Abides, welcome. Speaking of Brevicorn, where's Steve? Good question. Where the heck is Steve? Steve Hefner, we're talking about you. See, Bill, when do Madagascar imports typically come into the U.S.? Winter, yes. Winter, and they've started coming in now. So Madagascar imports have started, and they will come in until like February. Now, every now and then we do get them during the summer, but the reason why we don't get a lot during the summer is because that's the dry season in Madagascar, and it's harder to find chameleons, and they're not as healthy as they are during the wet season, which is right about now, from November to March. As well as everyone else, do we know of any other breeders currently working with first fur petteri? I think Kevin Stanford is the only one I know working with petteri. So TTT Reptiles Direct. Oh, Reptiles Direct just got a shipment from Madagascar. Yes. Let's see. Marchand says that's not a good excuse, and that's absolutely correct. Having work is not a good excuse for not hanging out with us here in the just hanging out us for Tuesday night. So everybody just remember that work is not a good excuse, and it's grounds for quitting your job, I would say, because we all have fun here and we like to hang out with each other, and this is our time. But freaking work getting in the way always. Yes. Wayne Abides says, haha, I'm at work. See, Wayne Abides knows how to do it. He's here. Considens says, okay, I'll tell my boss. Yes, tell your boss that the guy from Chameleon Academy says that Chameleon Cat that they should not interfere with hanging out with the chameleon people. Bill, do you plan to add more wild-caught shamrocks to your group? To Gerald Tom, that may be in the future. Right now, I'm just working with the ones I have, and once I figure out how to get reliable breeding and incubation and to get the basics down enough that I can write them down and make sure other people can do them, then I'll start expanding the collection. But yes, I would. I want to establish shamrock chameleons in the United States, and so you're obviously part of the F1 community of the people who would take the babies, but there's got to be somebody who takes in wild caught and produces new bloodlines on a consistent basis, and that's going to be my job. And so I've got the parasite stuff down, and I'm getting pretty good at acclimating them. There's some tricks to acclimating them and some interesting aspects, but I'm figuring that out. And once I can, once I have those skills, I'll tell anybody how to do it. But working with wildcats is kind of miserable, and I don't recommend it for anybody. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that and provide the F1s for the people in the community. And so we just need more F1s. And so, yes, I will do that eventually. I will, like every season, I'll bring in 2 pair and I'll breed them and I'll get new bloodlines and I'll make those available to the community. And so maybe every other year I'll bring in 2 pair. I think that would work. Let's see. Luke Larson's asking, hello, I was wondering if you have any ideas on giving extra enrichment for chameleons. Yes. So for chameleons, I'd say for enrichment, give a bigger cage that has more plants and more areas where they can hide and hang out, and then different food feeders. So give them different food. Make sure once a week they have something that's flying around their cage. And that's kind of what we know about enrichment right now. As we mature in a community, we'll come up with different ways for enrichment. And you see, that's the thing we have. We are just entering into this age of enrichment. We've gotten out of the idea of, okay, mass production is the sign of expertise, and that's where people stop. We're breaking through that, and now people are into the age of enrichment. How do we make their lives better and better and better? But we've literally just started. So I am excited for where we're going to go. We just have ways to go. Uh, See, Justin's asking, is One World Exotica the best place to get a wild import chameleon? Yes. Um, I don't know of other places. I know of other places that bring them in, and I don't necessarily know that they're bad places, but I know that One World Exotica is a great place, and so I would recommend One World Exotica. Evergreen Frog says, "Hey Bill, I recently purchased a female Jax that was mislabeled as a Machacos Hills. I believe she's a Mount Meru. What are some telltale signs of Mount Meru versus Machacos Hills?" First of all, it would be very difficult for there to be a Mount Meru coming in place in through Kenya. For that to happen, these people would have had to hike up to the top of Mount Meru in Tanzania, which it's a pretty big hike, and then they need to come back into Kenya to sell it as a Jackson's chameleon. And so that is a whole lot of work for absolutely no benefit, because they could very easily just go into the streets in Nairobi and pick off female Jacksonii, which they're selling it as Jacksonia. So it is unlikely that there are Mount Merus in the United States. I know there's some in Europe, but if somebody knew that they had Mount Merus, they would be able to sell them at a huge premium. So it wouldn't. The only way that somebody would mix up Mount Meru with Jacksonii is if, I mean, there would have to be a mistake. And I'm just saying, it's so hard to make that mistake when you have to go not only to another country, but you have to have a special expedition up a certain mountain. So it's tough getting Merus. Now, a while ago, like a year or so ago, there was a shipment that came in that was labeled Mount Merus, but it was really Jacksonii. Now, as for how you can tell the difference between the females, it's tough to explain. The female Machacos Hills are larger than the Mount Merus, and so the thing is, if I've got pictures of the Mount Merus. I've had Mount Merus and I've had Jacksonii. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you right off the top of my head the identifying features. They do have a different feel to them, and the Mount Merus will be smaller. If there's so it's going to be really difficult for me to explain it in a way that would be useful. I can tell you, if you had them both next to each other, you would be able to tell the difference. But that's the thing with these chameleons. If you don't have them next to each other, it's hard to explain a way to definitively identify them. And I don't know of any special, like with Xantholophus, you can tell the little crest on the back has a little double bump, whereas the Jacksonii has a single bump. I'm not sure what those little tricks are for the Mount Meru. But Evergreen Fraud, I'd be interested. Why do you think that it's a Mount Meru? It'd be very exciting if it was. Very exciting. And so I'm hoping that it is. But like I said, there would have to be a lot of things happening for that to be a Meru. And it's not easy for that to happen. But please let me know why you think that you might have a Mount Meru. Let's talk about this. Um, I would be excited if you were, if you did. Let's see here. Let's see. Alicia is at work for 70% of this. So, okay, I'm okay. Going through the chat here. Bill James, there may or may not be already plans for our babies to have possibility of play date. Oh, okay, good. You're talking to Kevin. So, yeah. Bill, has anyone figured out Kaluma breeding reliably? That's difficult to say. Even there has obviously been a whole lot of effort into Parsons, but even then, it's just a couple of people that are breeding them, and I'm not sure that they're breeding them reliably. Something like Brevicorn actually isn't that hard. It's the incubation. We'd like to work a little bit more on the incubation and get that done, but I think Brevicorn it's pretty easy. We just the thing is, it's a brownish cryptic chameleon, and so there hasn't been a whole lot of attention put towards it. Whenever Brevicorn comes in, a lot of these really great chameleons come in. They come in with Panther chameleons and Parsons chameleons, and so they don't necessarily get the attention that they would if they weren't around those other more high visibility chameleons. So there's nothing really hard about them. They just don't get the attention that they deserve. So yeah, Evergreen Frogs, send some pictures to bill@chameleonacademy.com. And I'd love to see them. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's see. So, of course, I'm going through the chat here. So, all right. What are your thoughts on a veiled chameleon, dart frog, and a beta tank living together in an all glass enclosure? Another content creator. Anything smaller than a sparrow will go into the mouth of a veiled chameleon. So that's veiled chameleons are really tough things to cohabitate with anything because they can fit things into their mouth that you would just say, oh my goodness, how does he fit that in their mouth? So that is without me knowing any more details. When you say veiled chameleon, I am looking at everything else being food in that tank eventually. A glass enclosure is okay if it's got ventilation and if it's big enough. Most glass enclosures are not big enough, so I'd have to see one. Yeah. Bob says, I think a good way of enrichment is to give them a 10 by 10 by 10 full of trees and vines. That's actually a great way to give a chameleon enrichment. So, yes. Mikey, okay, getting some shade from these Canadians. I love how U.S. friends use grams to weigh their chameleons, and we use pounds for most of our daily weights in Canada. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's interesting the way the meshes. We in Canada have adopted different combinations of imperial and metric units. That is kind of funny. So, Campani are awesome. Yep. Talking about Campani. Excellent. Let's see. All right, getting down through the comments here. Let's see. Tutorial Tom says, if I could get Senegals established, I would be tempted to have them free ranging in my tortoise room, Mikey Ben. What is it about Senegals? Is it the temperature? Do they come from the area that their tortoises come from? Because that's interesting. And Senegals actually shouldn't be that hard. They come in weak, a lot of parasites, but if you can figure out how to get them established, as in get some eggs out of a female, maybe quickly deparasitize and get them rehydrated. They shouldn't be that hard. Senegalensis is one of them, kind of like gracilis, Camellia gracilis, and Camellia senegalensis, that really don't get a whole lot of attention. And ironically, those are two that I have never kept before. So the same habitat. Yeah, they're same habitats. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Interesting to and of course, if you want to cohabitate things, chameleons and tortoises are a pretty good combination where they're not going to be messing with each other. And that does work. I need a tortoise. Jarek says I need a tortoise room. How do I speed up process of moving kids out? Good. Anybody have any advice for Jarek as to how to get his kids out of the house sooner so he can put in tortoises in their room? Oh boy. So I wonder if the Senegals being sold are also mislabeled gracilis. Oh yeah, there's so much mislabeling that goes on. Those two are very similar. I have between Senegalensis and gracilis, I have sat there and tried to figure out if I saw these two, how could I tell them apart? And I tell you, I practice it, and I think I can do it. And then I don't practice it for a while and I totally lose it. So, at least we can tell the difference between Jacksons and Johnstons. James says, I've had quite a few Senegals back in the 80s. You could get them for like $10 at the pet store. Yeah. So that's the thing. The Senegalensis is so cheap that actually chameleon keepers don't bother with them. They would lose money trying to breed them. And I know when they come in, they're still cheap. And so that's a problem, everybody. When you sell a chameleon for cheap, it just condemns them to not be bred, not be worked with, and just be an import. Cheap chameleons is not good for anybody. And I was very disappointed to see Reptile Pets Direct has Ustaletii and Varicosis for $50. So if anybody wants those species, Reptile Pet Direct has them. But that chameleon's that cheap, that's just not good for the chameleon. Now, I understand, I'm not necessarily saying it's Reptile Pet Direct's fault that they're that cheap. I mean, they come out at a certain price. But as far as we're concerned about establishing a chameleon, you hear people talk about how, I want to help the industry. I want to make chameleons cheaper. And that comes from a good place. The people saying that have the right heart. But the reality of it is that a cheap chameleon condemns it to never be worked with. And it just becomes something that goes to people who are inexperienced, and the chameleons don't have good lives. So that is the truth about cost of chameleons, reptiles. Yeah, I mean, I think that's across the board. So I don't know what a Senegal is, Justin. That's a Senegalensis. Okay, Mini Minion is saying, once I'm ready to purchase a Panther Chameleon, I was going to purchase it from Framscams. Do you think that's a good decision? Mini Minion, go on to my YouTube channel for Chameleon Academy. And Framscams is one of them that I have interviewed, have been on. And so take a look at their videos and see if their personality meshes with you. And that's what's important. The wonderful thing about Panther Chameleons is we have so many breeders out there that you can pick the one that your personalities mesh. So that's what I say about that. True Turtle Tom says, I work with tortoises that cost $50 in the 90s. Nobody would work with them. It's my niche. I love the underdogs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The problem is, and obviously you and I have talked about this often, but about establishing species. The thing is, if they come in cheap, then we have such a problem selling them because people just say, why should I pay for captive bred when I could buy them for cheap and then they just don't buy. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Bill, I think there's a fly trying to collab with you. Mitch, maybe watching your. If there's a fly flying around here, if you see me, just go like this real quick. Duck, plug your ears, because that there is a mosquito flying around here, and I'm not happy about that. Not happy about that at all. So, whew. So, Thanksgiving's coming up. Tell me what's up in your guys' life. What is going on? What kind of projects are you doing? And bye, Roxanne. And you know what? If you have content creation ideas, I love content creation projects. Let me know, because I'd love to see, especially if it has to do with reptiles. And just so you know, in next year, I'm going to be having a YouTube video project a year long, to where every month, every couple of weeks, we'll see what it is. They're going to be projects, and there will be beginner level projects, intermediate, and advanced level projects. And we are going to have an entire year of having this fun thing. I think we'll put points to it, and maybe at the end of the year there'll be prizes for the points. I don't know. Oh, Justin's going to eat a lot of turkey. Nate says, I'm getting a cristatus on Sunday. Oh my goodness, Nate, you are absolutely lucky. That is awesome. I am so excited about that. Is it male or female? Interested in that. So egg laying is starting here in the tortoise room. Excellent. Kiki is going to go out decorating for Christmas. Might finally actually break out my 3D printer to print something. Oh my goodness. Everybody will be so excited when Kiki finally breaks out her 3D printer. I think she's had it for a year now. Something like that. Mikey Ben, ooh, new microscope to look at reptile poop. Excellent. Oh, that's right. You had a challenging microscope. Yes, that's great. Oh, yeah. So, going to make a bugkin pie for my reptiles. Excellent. That sounds fun. And let's see, Mini Minion, you have dart frogs breeding. What you say you have 5 species? What kind of dart frogs do you have? I have 1 dart frog, an Azurius, and I love Mr. Blue Sky. he's my boy. So yeah, let me know. Nate says a male. Oh, nice. Excellent. So all right. And Tutorial Tom says, I've asked Santa for a microscope. Oh, excellent. Have you given Santa a link to make sure that you have all the features you need on your microscope? So Luke Larson is saying, I'm going to give my chameleon a feast for Thanksgiving. He deserves it. When a BD says, my family won't buy me a good microscope, so that'll be my Christmas to me. Got to figure out what to get my wife. Get her a bunch of like glass slides so she can use the microscope too. Oh boy, Santa has an Amsco link. Excellent. And Bob's asked Santa for a Miss King. Perfect. That's exactly the kind of stuff we need. Me, I think I'm going to rest. I'm going to rest. I have these crazy projects, which I absolutely love doing, but I'm going to rest. And I do these things where I do a huge project and then I rest, huge project and I rest. And that's just what I like. So, and I'm starting to think about what I want to accomplish in 2025. I've gotten a lot done. It's amazing what I've gotten done in 2024. My goals of 2024 were to launch an online course, which I did, hunting chameleon parasites. By the way, if anybody wants to sign up for that course, it is a paid course. It's $80, and it teaches you all about how to purchase a microscope, how to use a microscope, all about the life cycle of parasites, identifying parasites, the medications, and you get to be in a special forum for the class so you can talk to alumni. You can talk to me, and we go over case studies, and so you can get really good at doing fecals. So that's available. You can go to the chameleonacademy.com website and find a link if you're interested in that. But that was a goal of mine for 2024. So yeah, everybody, James Cross got a microscope and hasn't worked with it. So let's go ahead and everybody ask him. Every time you see him, ask him how the microscope's going. Let's see. Marcia Ann Santa is bringing me a 3D scanner. Ooh, nice. Microscope is what I need too. Yes, Eric, you need to join us. Yes. So, when a BD says, if I could get her into herpetoculture, even a smidgen as much as I am, that'd be the best gift ever. Winnie BDs, I got to tell you, you are absolutely correct. To be able to do this, like with Yvette, it's a dream. You know, it's like I don't care about a whole lot of else. I just have fun doing this with Yvette. It's so much fun when you're doing it with the person you love. It really is awesome. Derek says, if I feel if I had a microscope, I would start looking at everything. Yes, you would. You probably would. Matthew says, Bill, third batch of eggs this year. 70 eggs. Wow. Laws are complicated in Spain. Well, 70 eggs. You definitely have a job ahead of you when those 70 eggs hatch. Hopefully, they are not going to hatch. Oh, you want to put them both together? Those are unrelated? Okay, you got your work cut out for you. You got your work cut out for you. That's 70 eggs. Yeah. Yeah. So for those who don't know, in chameleon breeding, the challenge is not mating. The challenge is not getting eggs. The challenge, if on some of them, is not incubating them. It's once they hatch. That is the challenge. That's when it gets really dicey. Because, excuse me, you've got to keep them separate, or else they start bullying each other. So, see, Mikey Ben says glass slides and saline solution are great stocking stuffers. Absolutely. Okay, Mini Minion has Leucomelas. They're talking about dart frogs. Leucomelas, Azurius, bicolor. I love bicolor. Pumilo, and I don't know the other ones. And loads of baby. Excellent. So, oh, all right. James is going to be taking his wig visor to Madagascar. Prison for me. Matthew, wow, what are the laws in Spain? You say, oh, wow, they must be really, really strict when it comes to that. Wow. Oh, hey. Okay, everybody. Yeah, James, there was a suggestion that, so for those who don't know, I'll give a little backstory here. On Sunday evenings for my other channel, I bake cookies while we talk about YouTube. So the other channel is about starting a YouTube channel. And Sunday evenings, I bake cookies and we talk YouTube. They ask questions, we answer, we talk about strategies and all that kind of stuff. And it was mentioned, last Sunday, day before yesterday, I had a bake off with James Cross. So he came on and we both baked cookies, and I won, obviously. And so, but it was suggested that the next time we should have a gingerbread house build off, which I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but we need to think about that. So James says, "Oh, geez, Bill. Yeah, well, there really isn't. There was no standards as to winning. I just decided that I won." That's the Mini Minion saying, "It's awesome. The other channel, it's helping me with my channel I started. Excellent. I'm glad. It's great. Yeah, I would love to see more people do YouTube in the chameleon world or reptile world. So let's see. What you won, that's not what the mob said. James Cross says, what you won? That's not what the mob said. Yeah, but I write the history books. That's how it works. Oh, Justin says gingerbread chameleon enclosure build off. Not sure how we would do that. Won't be able to see inside. Eliza Ann says, I'm going to make you guys chef hats and aprons. Yeah. The only winners of that bake-off was those that got to eat the cookies. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh yes, those were good cookies. James, did you eat your cookies? So, and Mini Minion says, I'll be creating my chameleon enclosure on my channel. Excellent. Excellent. That's great. Eliza Ann, the mob voted James. He had the hat and the hair. Yeah, Eliza Ann's confused and is getting things mixed up. She was watching another channel. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. So, oh, all right, everybody. We are coming to the end of this hour here. And so if you got any final questions or comments or suggestions as to the fun things, put them in the chat. We have, let's see, is there any announcements? If anybody is interested in that YouTube channel thing, you go to YouTube, find the Bill Strand Project, and every day at 1 p.m. launch an episode, and you can be there where it's premiere. It's live in the chat. And the next time I'm going to be live here is Saturday afternoon, 12 noon. And yes, still room on the Madagascar trip. Everybody, I have a Madagascar trip for Chameleon people, and it's going in January, and 2 people had to drop off. And so if you are interested in a spontaneous trip to Madagascar, and by spontaneous, I mean, you got 6 weeks, just let me know. Bill@chameleonacademy.com, and we'll talk. I can send you information. But yeah, it's it's a pretty quick trip. Quick thing to get ready for. But I'm really excited. James Cross is going to be there, and Anna Ballistic, and a lot of the people are going to be there that have been in the chat. So Mason Turtles subscribed. Excellent. Thank you very much. Wish I could go. A lot of people wish you could go. Yes. Oh, there's so many people I wish could go. We are planning on, we are thinking about doing it in 2026. And so January of 2026, and I'll be talking about that in February, once we're done with this trip. So you can all come with us. You're going to come with us if you hang out here on the Chameleon Academy, because we're going to be sharing it. I mean, James has more cameras than I think he's going to bring his daughter just to carry all the cameras. So we're going to be well documented, and we're going to go live every time we have a chance to. And we'll be able to go live a lot during the first week. The second week, not so much, because there's just not internet there. So, Bill, how much did your setup for the? Oops, Jared retracted his question. Night vision GoPros. Yeah, James got night vision cameras and all that kind of stuff. What the heck? This is insane. So we're going to have a lot of fun, if nothing else, playing with all the tech that James is bringing. That's cool that your daughter is going, James. Yeah, Nate, I don't think either James or his daughter know that she's going. I just suggested that. I think that's the one solution. Somebody's got to carry all of James's stuff. James is going to look like Dr. Doom or Iron Man as he's walking through Rana. What other cam channels would you recommend for someone looking for more? Wayne Beatty's, there really isn't much out there. You've got Neptune the Chameleon. She does chameleons. I don't know that anybody else does chameleon content, not exclusively. So not that I'm aware of. Dayton. Oh yeah. And for 2025, that is the 10th anniversary of the Chameleon Academy. And so I am looking into doing an in-person meetup at Clint's Reptiles. And so details aren't established yet, but that's what we're looking at. And that's in by Provo, Utah, Springville. And so just something to start thinking about. Once I get it all established, we can start getting some details. But Jared's asking, how much did your setup for the microscope cost you to inspect chameleon specimens? Jared, you can like $200 to $300 will get you a really, really good microscope with everything you need. So it's not cheap, but it's not extravagant. You can get it. You can get it down for $100 as long as you know what you need, and my class tells you how to do that. But if you go to like Eat Etsy or your Craigslist or any of these online, you can get these classifieds. You can get used microscopes for pretty cheap. And so if you know what you're looking for, you can save a lot of money. So, hey, Dylan, you made it just as we're closing down, but you made it finally. That's good. That's good. Oh, all right, everybody. We are coming to the end of the hour. And I want to say thank you very much for being here. I'm going to go film the final days of the YouTube series. And if anybody's interested in starting your YouTube channel, just go to the Bill Strand Project, and we're going to have fun. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you live on Saturday noontime, noon Pacific. And we'll be back for Chameleons and Coffee. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, yeah. And everybody hit the like, please. Hit the like on the show. So Instagram and YouTube know this is a good place to be. So thank you very much. See ya. See if I figure out how to do this. Kazukuza, so good to see you. Let's see.